The movie begins with a little girl named Wen, collecting grasshoppers in a jar to study them for some time. She is on vacation with her fathers, Eric and Andrew, at a remote cabin. Wen is approached by Leonard, a huge guy who is friendly toward her and even joins her in capturing grasshoppers. Leonard then asks her to play a game by asking questions, so they can get to know each other and be friends. Wen asks him what he is doing there, and Leonard tells her he has to do something he will regret. Wen notices three people, Redmond, Adrian, and Sabrina, emerging from the woods with large weapons. Leonard tells Wen they are the people he is going to work with, and they are going to do the most important job in the history of the world. Wen gets scared and prepares to leave as Leonard tells her he has nothing against them, but her fathers has to make the tough decision. Wen immediately rushes into the cabin and warns her fathers about Leonard. They think she is just playing until they hear a knock on the door. Leonard informs Eric and Andrew that they have arrived for a mission and must speak with them directly. Eric tells them to leave as they were not expecting any visitors, but Leonard claims they came to save many people. Andrew looks through the window and finds them holding heavy weapons. He tries to call the police, but the phone doesn't work. Adrian informs them they cut the phone line, and there is no network on their cell phone. Leonard informs them they don't have much time and requests them to open the door to have a real conversation. Wen asks why they have dangerous weapons, but Leonard claims they are just tools. Andrew claims he has a gun, but it was in the safe on the back of their truck. Leonard gives them one last chance to open the door, before they start trying to break in. The guys get nervous and begin to lock all the doors and windows. The group starts breaking in through the windows. Eric gets into a fight with Sabrina, during which he falls and loses consciousness. Andrew goes after Redmond and hits him hard. The four eventually restrain the family, but Sabrina treats Eric's wound. A quick flashback shows Eric and Andrew meeting Andrew's parents, who are not happy with their son's sexuality, and the quiet implies that the two, unlike Eric's mother, and Andrew is dissatisfied since they only stayed for 45 minutes despite a 7-hour journey. Eric assures him that they will always be together. Eric and Andrew are restrained, and Leonard puts cartoons to calm Wen. Eric has been concussed and complains of light sensitivity and a lack of eyesight, which Sabrina tries to help mitigate. After everything is in order, the group members begin to introduce themselves and their histories. Leonard works as a junior basketball coach, Sabrina as a nurse, Adrian as a line cook, and Redmond as a sanitation worker. Leonard then explains that they are trying to stop an apocalypse and asks for Eric and Andrew's help, as one of their family must willingly sacrifice to prevent the apocalypse. Leonard claims that if they fail to follow through with the sacrifice, the world will end and billions of people will perish, but they will survive and be left to wander around the devastated planet alone. Andrew thinks they are just lunatics, and Eric tells Leonard they have done nothing wrong. Leonard agrees with him, but their family has been chosen to sacrifice for humanity to survive. They are also advised that they are not allowed to commit suicide to save their loved ones. Eric and Andrew are adamant about not sacrificing anyone. It turns out the four of them had visions about the apocalypse, leading them to each other and bringing them to that exact cabin. Eric says dreams can have different meanings and thinks their actions don't make any sense. Leonard then reveals that they will unleash a plague on humanity whenever they refuse to make a choice. Eric and Andrew were still not willing to sacrifice. The group quickly grabs their tools. Redmond steps forward, gets on his knees and puts on a white mask. Eric notices something strange as the sun reflects off a mirror in his way before Sabrina moves in front of him. Redmond says that part of humanity has been judged before he gets struck by Sabrina and Adrian before Leonard beheads him. Another flashback shows Andrew and Eric at a hospital to adopt Wen. They were excited and held Wen for the first time. Returning to the present, Leonard switches on the television to show the family what has happened so far. Powerful earthquakes and tsunamis have struck several places of the world, killing a large number of people. The group was shocked to see their visions, one where a huge wave wiped out many humans. Wen escapes through the basement and runs into the woods, but Leonard finds her and gets her back home. Andrew feels they are constantly being targeted because they are a couple, since he recognizes Redmond as the man who attacked him once in a pub. Eric says the attacker's name is O'Bannon, but Andrew is sure it's him. He tells the group to check his wallet to confirm his name, but Leonard refuses to comply and swears they are not there for that purpose. He thinks the name doesn't matter because they all had visions. The following day, Adrian makes breakfast for Wen. As the time comes for the family to choose, Andrew argues the group is having a shared delusion, and they can't consider random visions as an evidence. Meanwhile, Wen secretly hands the knife to Eric, who tells her to create a distraction when he nods. Adrian takes the stand to make her case. She adds them she has a kid named Charlie and she has witnessed his death in her visions and cannot stop hearing his screams. She begs them to consider that in their choice, but they still say no. Adrian is beaten and decapitated by Leonard and Sabrina. Leonard then turns on the news covering the spread of a virus affecting children. Andrew sees that the report is pre-recorded and thinks they are showing it to add up to their narrative and trying to fool them. Eric nods to Wen, who starts screaming that she wants to watch cartoons. Leonard goes to calm her down while Eric manages to break free. Sabrina and Leonard try to persuade him, unaware that Andrew also got free from his bindings. He heads toward the truck to fetch his gun. Sabrina strikes him as he reaches the truck. He throws the dirt into her face and manages to get into the car. He reaches the safe where he secured the gun. He tries to load it while Sabrina tries to break in and stabs him. But he immediately fires the gun, telling her to drop the weapon. Sabrina surrenders and runs into the woods. Andrew makes it back to the cabin and threatens to shoot Leonard, who tells them it's time for another sacrifice and asks if they are willing to make a choice. Suddenly Sabrina runs in, and Andrew gets frightened and shoots her. Another flashback reveals the incident at the bar, where Andrew picks up an argument with a man, who attacks him, and he looks somewhat like Redmond. Andrew was severely injured, prompting him to train in self-defense and get a gun. Back to the present, Leonard covers Sabrina's face with a mask before he beheads her. Andrew steps out to grab Redmond's wallet from his body, confirming that he is his attacker, Rory O'Bannon. This makes Andrew believe the group only came to torture them. Andrew forces Leonard to get into the toilet at gunpoint to seize the vehicle that the group arrived in so that they can return home as they cut the tires of Andrew's truck. A few minutes later, Leonard destroys the bathroom window, prompting them to believe Leonard is fleeing to the van and leaving them. Andrew enters the bathroom and fires into the shower, but Leonard attacks him despite being injured in the arm, and takes away the gun from Andrew. He makes them turn on the news, and the broadcast shows hundreds of airlines throughout the world begin to fail, leading hundreds of planes to fall out of the sky. Leonard speaks the exact words as the news anchor, giving Andrew the impression that everything is staged, but Eric starts to believe Leonard. Leonard takes Eric and Andrew outside and informs them that they've got one last chance to stop more tragedies from happening. It turns out Leonard is preparing for a sacrifice. Eric directs when to stay in a treehouse until they arrive. When it becomes evident that they are still not choosing, Leonard tells them they will have only a few minutes after he is gone and slits his throat. Soon the sky becomes dark, with more planes plummeting from the sky. They soon get inside, and Eric tells Andrew about the man he noticed in the sun's reflection, and he reveals that he's starting to think that the group's visions are real. He saw that they each symbolize different parts of humanity. Redmond represented malice, Adrian represented nourishment, Sabrina represented health, and Leonard represented guidance. These were the apocalypse's 4 horsemen, and their sacrifices were required. While Eric appears to be willing to make the sacrifice, Andrew challenges him, claiming that humanity is not worth rescuing because they despise and reject individuals like him and Eric. Eric then tells Andrew about a vision he had of a world that they live in, and how Andrew gets old and remains close to Wen, and how she has found a profession she is proud of, and a person who loves her the way she loves them. Eric has found his peace and grabs Andrew's hand to kill himself. Andrew mourns for Eric for a moment, before going to rescue Wen from the treehouse. Soon the lightning strikes, setting the cabin on fire. The two walk till they come upon the vehicle that Leonard's group arrived in. Andrew and Wen arrive at a cafe where people have gathered to watch the news of the tragedies. Flights have successfully landed, and the virus's death toll has decreased. Later, Andrew finds the items belonging to the group, proving that everything they said about themselves was true, with Leonard being a coach, and Sabrina being a nurse. He also finds the picture of Adrian with her son. Andrew and Wen leave, listening to Eric's favorite song on the radio. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this.